Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ellie. We have a bit of a large haul today, so we're going to jump into it. This is from sort of the middle of May to the middle of July. It's a lot, but a good stack of these were secondhand. I don't really have an excuse. Let's just jump into it. Let's start with a bunch of books. So first up was the next round of the Discovery Pack from Amplify Bookstore. I've talked about this before. It is a bi-monthly book box in which they send you two books from some area of the world. So I believe this one was the Middle East and Europe, and you can select them or they will surprise you. So I decided to pick this round. I went with these two. This is Power Born of Dreams. My Story is Palestine by Mohammed Sabaneh. So I've already read this one. This is a very short graphic memoir, non-fiction sort of thing. It was really powerful and really interesting as well in terms of the art design of it. As you can see, it's all black and white in these, I think it's like a wood cut kind of thing. I'm trying to see if it says, I'm not sure, but it has that, and then at the back it has a few little paragraphs on explaining different aspects of the story of Palestine. The other one I got was The Collar Bound by Rebecca Sahabi, which is, as you can probably guess from the sort of cover, is a fantasy. Not really sure what this one is about, but it does mention that it is for fans of things like the Poppy War and the City of Brass, neither of which I have read but are on my list, and this just looked interesting and I thought I'd grab it. And then I have my last three books from Fable Crates. I will link below. This is from April, May and June, so I'll link the April one below, and then I did the May and June in the same video, so I'll link those ones below if you're interested in seeing them. But from April we got League of Liars by Astrid Schultz, which has the most stunning end pages I've ever seen and is absolutely beautiful underneath as well. I'm a little nervous about this one. I have tried two of Astrid Schultz's books before and I didn't get very far into either of them. Her writing just wasn't for me, so I'm a little nervous about this one, but I'm gonna give it a shot because you never know. Sometimes you'll just find one book from an author that is for you, and maybe some of the others won't be. But giving this a shot. Also, little matchy. And then May was Belmort by Bella Higgin. This is a like modern vampire thing. I just opened this one, so I haven't really looked it up or anything yet, but it looks interesting. And then we have June. This is The Ambrosia Throne by Tati B. Alvarez. This seems to be like a Greek god myth kind of story. It sounds really interesting, and I'm hoping it's gorgeous as well. Like, it came as a naked hardback. It's all over. It has these gorgeous burgundy matching things, and it's just real pretty. And yes, I'm excited to get to this one. I think this is the one that out of the three that I'm most excited for, and I'm hoping that I will read it this month, maybe even before I get this video up. We'll see. So then we go into the rest of this stuff. I think we're gonna go with secondhand next, and then I have a few romances, and then some random stuff. So these all come from about 2 trips from this op shop that my partner and I found that has this amazing book section. So an op shop is kind of like it's the Aussie version of like a charity shop or like a thrift store. So before that though, this is Waking Romeo by Catherine Barker, which my boyfriend found in one of those little free libraries just before he moved, and was like, hey, that's YA, Ellie will read it. And this was one that was on kind of my radar last year. I think it was released, but I wasn't too sure about it. It's like a weird Romeo and Juliet thing, maybe with like time travel and stuff. I'm not really sure, but I am interested to give it a go. And Catherine Barker is Australian, and it has a review from Melina Marchetta on the front. People who read Aussie YA, it's Melina Marchetta, you know. Okay, the rest of this is a weird mix of things, so we're just gonna go through whatever. So we have Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I don't know. I read Daughter of Smoke and Bone originally when it came out, never continued the series, and I just haven't picked anything up by Laini Taylor. And I know that she kind of had a bit of a moment on BookTube, as did many of the books I'm about to tell you about. And I'm just late to the party, as per usual. I'm going to give this a go. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, because I know she is very whimsical and lyrical, and sometimes like that's great and I love that kind of writing, but sometimes in like a fantasy I need to be told what's happening, like plainly, because I just don't get it. It goes over my head, and sometimes I just need to be told a little bit of like what's happening, rather than just like, look, beautiful stuff. So we'll see with this one. Okay, we have The Sea of Tranquility by Katja Millet. I thought this was a like contemporary romance. My best friend has told me that this is more of like a sci-fi time travel-y kind of thing, apparently. She hasn't read it either, but that's kind of the vibes from Goodreads and things like that. So nervous, but this also kind of had a moment, not so much on BookTube, I don't think. I remember seeing this around on a couple of people's blogs way back in the day, and I figured it was time. Let's give it a shot. That's basically the premise of everything that I have here, of just like, why not? So here we go. Here's 2 here. This is Wintering by Chrissy Keane, and this is Past the Shallows by Fable Perrette. These are both Aussie authors. Never read any Chrissy Keane before, but I have read 2 of Fable Perrette's before, and I loved both of them. Grouping these 2 together because they're both set in Tasmania. I'm just having a bit of a Tassie moment at the moment. You know, I love my Tasmanians, my Taswegians. This is about a couple of brothers and their childhood, I believe, and this is about a woman whose husband or partner goes missing in the Tasmanian wilderness and the repercussions of that. So kind of out of my comfort zone, definitely like literary fiction, but I trust Fable Perrette, and I thought I would give Chrissy Keane a go. Okay, we have some YA here. This is Wink Poppy Midnight by April Genevieve Chicholke. Honestly, don't really know why I picked this one up. It's not really my kind of thing. It says 2 girls, 1 boy, 1 summer, 1 bad thing. What really happened? someone knows someone is lying. So it says that this is also kind of a bit like We Were Liars, which I absolutely hated. So we'll see how we go with this one. If not, it was like $2 and I'll just donate it if I don't like it. I then have The Graces by Law Eve. This, I believe, is some kind of witchy YA thing, and I love a good witch. I love witch books. You know, some people are really into like vampires or werewolves. If I'm gonna pick a paranormal being, it's gonna be witches. So don't really know anything else about this one, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Okay, and then these are all adult. I have, here is The Beehive by Sarah Crossan. This is a story in prose, and it was Sarah Crossan's adult debut. Her YA books are among some of my favorites. She always writes in verse. This is the story of a woman who's been having an affair and then one day discovers the man she was having an affair with has died. And it goes from there. I've already read this. I didn't really enjoy it. I enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed being back in Sarah Crossan's very capable hands, but I don't really like reading about people having affairs. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's not something I've had an experience with, but it just kind of doesn't compute in my head. And yeah. So next I have, let's go this one. This is Boy Snow Bird by Helen Oyemi. I haven't read anything by them before, but it was really pretty. It was a couple of dollars and I was like, I've heard about that, and I believe it has a fairy tale-esque sort of thing to it, which again, yeah, but again, it was a couple of dollars. Give it a shot. I have The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. So I loved The Secret History when I read it like 6 years ago now, and I'm not sure about this one either. I believe that this one centers around like a little girl trying to find who murdered her brother, which sounds kind of creepy and unsettling, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it because that sounds like maybe a little too intense for me, and that kind of stuff really amps up my anxiety. Like, I can't watch crime shows anymore because I get so panicked by them. But yes, I want to give this a go and see how I do. But yeah, again, it was a few dollars. If it's too much, I will just donate it. And then I have Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This definitely had its moment a few years ago as well, and I have always been interested in it, but never enough to pay full price. I don't know if anyone else has books like that where you're kind of like, oh, if I ever saw that secondhand, or like if I happened to see it in the library, I would read it, but I'm not going to actively search for it. And that was definitely Uprooted for me. So this is a standalone adult fantasy, and that's pretty much all I know. I believe it is maybe a Beauty and the Beast retelling and dragons. So yeah, again, we'll give it a chance. And finally, for the second hand, I have The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich, which, as you can see, I've started reading, though I am only 20 pages in. And this, honestly, I've been hearing about Louise Erdrich for a while. I've been wanting to read more from First Nations people outside of Australia, and this follows two characters, a man and a young woman, in 1953 North Dakota, which is very outside of Australia and outside of my sort of usual realm of comfort. But I have really enjoyed those 20 pages so far, and I'm looking forward to hopefully finishing off this month. And lastly, we go into the new books. So I have a couple here just on the top of romance, so I thought I would share those first. So first up, I have these two wonderful books. This is Hang the Moon and Count Your Lucky Stars by Alexandra Bellefleur. These are books 2 and 3 in the Written in Our Stars series. I read the first one in May, at the end of May, and absolutely loved it. Have been waiting for these, but I am doing a buddy read of these with Aoife from Pretty Polka Dots. Genuinely, this may be the thing in this entire year that I'm most excited for. I cannot wait to get to these. I loved the first one so much, and then when Aoife read it in June, I made her send me updates on her thoughts about them, and I'm super excited to be able to read these with her. So of course I had to grab them, and just like genuinely I don't think I've been this excited for anything, any book for a while. Though I am equally excited for this one, which is Wicked Beauty by Katie Roberts. So this one came out maybe a month ago now, month and a half, maybe even longer, but it was waiting for me at my best friend's bookshop, and I just needed to go in and pick it up, but I had a whole stack of other things, and yeah, I just needed a time where I could get everything home, because I thought I had way more than what I did, but I managed to pick it up yesterday, and I'm holding off on this until August because I've been reading a lot of Katie Robert this month with Indie Accords, and I don't want to, I just feel like this is going to put me into a slump because I'm super excited for it, and I just want to kind of read those other 3 that I have of hers left before I go into this one. And last up for the romance, I have Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. So I did read this one. I had an arc of this back when it was released, but I never bought myself a physical copy. And then Angel was telling me, this is another one I picked up from her, that they had gone through and taken out all of the Harry Potter references, which is honestly fantastic. I feel very uncomfortable when books reference Harry Potter these days because, well, I mean, of obvious reasons, I think. I do not believe in anything that author says, and I do not want to support her in any way, and I feel uncomfortable when things reference those books, especially ones that have been published since those comments were made, which this wasn't, but I really appreciate the fact that they went back and removed those references. But I also wanted to get this before there was an ugly movie upcoming sticker placed on it, and here it is. Next up is Lore Olympus Volume 2 by Rachel Smythe, which is quite heavy. So this is a absolutely stunning graphic novel about Hades and Persephone, and I absolutely love it. I'm not sure, I did read some of this as a webtoon, which was where it was originally published. I'm not sure if I read up to the episode that is included in this. I did stop reading it once it was announced that the physical ones would be coming out, because I just prefer reading things physically than on my tiny little phone screen. So super excited to get to this one. Okay. Next up, we have a little Taylor Jenkins Reid section. So I have Malibu Rising, which I bought with Mel. We did a little video with her and her friend Michelle, in which we did a scavenger hunt in a couple of bookstores. I only bought the one book, and I picked Malibu Rising. And then a few days later, we were in a bookstore. I was in a bookstore with my partner, and it was a new one we'd never been to, and I wanted to buy something. And I was like, well, I did just talk about with Mel the fact that I wanted to like read Taylor Jenkins Reid's backlist, because I feel like those aren't talked about nearly as much as sort of everything post Evelyn Hugo. And this one grabbed my eye, and I thought I would start with this one. I hate that it has a little sticker talking about Daisy Jones, because I don't need that. You could have just put that like as a blurb. I'm just saying, Simon and Schuster. Okay, so last couple here. I have For the Throne by Hannah Whiten at the end of or middle of June. I don't even know. Who knows? Time is just an illusion. And so I read For the Wolf, which is book 1 in this series, some time ago, and I loved it. And immediately, I happened to read it the day before this came out, and I immediately ordered this because I needed it. And I have very few books that I'm trying to get through in July that aren't indie published, but this is one of them. A couple others you will have seen as well, but this is definitely one I'm going to try. Okay, and then quite left of field, I have Metamorphosis by Ovid. I'm not sure which one it is. I don't know why all of a sudden, maybe about 3 months ago, I was like, I really want this book. I think it was mentioned in another book, something that I read or watched, maybe a YouTube video, I don't know, possibly even in one of my art history classes. But anyway, all of a sudden I was like, I need this book, and I had a terrible time trying to find it. I did find one or two, but copies that I did find in bookstores were all like damaged, and I didn't want to pay full price for a damaged one. But this one was in good condition, and so I bought it the other day. And it's chunky. It's chunky. I don't know how much of this is notes, but it doesn't look like that much. But I'm probably going to start this month and just read it for however long it takes me. Okay, last two. Next we have Traitor by Amanda McCrinner. So I actually got this one, I ordered this in preparation for Eurovision-a-thon, but then it didn't arrive in time. This is set in Poland in 1944. It follows our main character, who is half Polish, half Ukrainian, and he accidentally shoots his commanding officer, and he gets rescued by this bunch of Ukrainian freedom fighters, and it goes from there. So it sounds fantastic, and it's been a while since I really read anything World War II-ish. I read a few things during Eurovision-a-thon, but before that it had been a while, and I haven't read anything since. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And again, like, kind of matching with the bluey grey. We love when that happens. And finally, we have one that I also pre-ordered. I've been so excited about this one. This was also in that video with Mel, and I so very nearly bought it, but then I had to just quickly text Angel and be like, hey, did I order this from you? Because I feel like I would have, because I'm super excited about it. And that is The Marvelous by Donielle Clayton. This is Donielle Clayton's middle grade debut. They've written a YA before, the Bells series and things like that, and I love a good middle grade. This gives me kind of a little bit of like Nevermore vibes, and I'm always looking for something that will live up to that for me, and I feel like this could be it. It's so gorgeous, and I'm just super excited. I love a good magical school. I'm just so excited. It just looks so fun, and I cannot wait to read it. So that's it. That is this absolutely humongous haul. It's a lot, but I'm really looking forward to these and all that kind of stuff, and it is over like 2 months, so maybe it's not that bad. I've definitely bought this many books in a month before. So with that being said, that's the end of today's video. I hope you're all doing super well. I'd love to hear if you've read any of these and what you thought, or if you're interested in buddy reading any of them, please let me know. But for now, I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.